Okay, hello and welcome to the next instalment of David Bowie, David Bowie, or David Bowie. Some people would pronounce it as Bowie, which kind of makes you think of a tree, doesn't it? The first one I'm starting off with is the UK copy of Let's Dance, or Let's Dance, or Lots Dance, or whatever. And this was from the LP that kind of brought him back into the mainstream, you could say. This was huge. With the music video, was actually shot in a little country town in New South Wales. And the reactions that you see in the video for when the people are dancing are genuine. They had no idea that a music video was being shot, or who this David Bowie or David Bowie or whoever this guy in the white gloves was. I always found it interesting, him playing the guitar with white gloves. Imagine that would give an interesting sound anyway. So yeah, when you look at it next time and you see those faces along the lines of who the hell are these guys, they are genuinely wondering who the hell are these guys. But apparently Let's Dance is about, I suppose, the racial divide and stuff like that, I guess. The next single is the aforementioned China Girl. And on a Watch Mojo top 20 or top 10 or top something of inappropriate video clips, this has now become one of them. And the reason being is a couple of the things David does during the clip. And I have noticed that the section at the end of the video where they're kind of on the beach swapping spit has been kind of gently edited a little bit. It's definitely different to what I saw in the 80s. Next up is the UK copy of Modern Love. Once again, with things like that, the others were edited for single release too, definitely Let's Dance. It just seemed weird because you get used to the album, I say it all the bloody time, don't I? Yes, David embracing that trend of the trousers above the hip. It was always kind of weird. You'd see people with these trousers almost like up to their chin and everything like that. I was told, so like, you've got to have your... No, it was too uncomfortable. And next up is the Australian copy to Criminal World. And David looking very serious there. Maybe he's thinking of that criminal world. Where does it come from? Or maybe he's thinking, I should probably tie this tie a bit better. No, why on earth this was released is anyone's guess. I don't think it even had a video clip with it. Was it one of those things of, oh gee, we'd better release another single off of the Let's Dance album? It's not like the B-side is a bonus track or anything like that. It's also off the album. And here's the other side of it, where it actually kind of looks like the front cover of a safe sex pamphlet from the early 80s. You know, there's these two cartoons with their mittens on each other's hips, without you above them. And one can only guess as to what the glow around them could be interpreted as. Maybe later, who knows, this was the inspiration for something from the mid to late 80s. Where did you get your muse from? Oh, a David Bowie back cover. That sounds very alright. A back cover. Speaking of backs, back to the next one. And next up is the Australian copy to Blue Jean, which features Screaming Lord Byron. God, I got that right. In the video clip. And the video clip really is, I suppose, kind of clever. It's where he's playing both parts of this Lord Byron character, which is a very cartoony type thing, which he never really followed up on. Playing the kind of geeky guy that wanted to meet Screaming Lord Byron. But if you see the video clip by itself, the band-aid on his nose is part of the story where he bangs his head in the video clip. But I did read somewhere, it was one of those things of where on the back of Let's Dance, it was like, geez, we better get another album out to sort of capitalise on that. Problem was that he didn't really have enough songs to go with it, so he was relying on stuff that had been written with Iggy Pop and things like that. Next up is the US version of Blue Jean. Now, there's one major difference between this and the Australian version, given that they're from separate countries for starters, is the vinyl. we've got a lovely blue hue to it. So there we go. Not only are we singing about blue jeans, we're singing it on a blue vinyl. I wonder if that makes any difference to the colour of the jeans he's singing about. Bluer jeans. And next up is the UK copy to Tonight. And this had a guest vocal with Tina Turner, I think. But it actually came as a poster. I'm really... Then again, knowing how artistic David is, that probably could have been part of the act. That's not where the mouth goes. But there we go. That's the poster, and him looking very serious there. So what's... I have no idea what those... Oh, it's a calendar. Oh, there we go. We've got a calendar for tonight. It's a calendar for tonight that makes those nights last 365. I think that makes sense. Oh, look, and there's a nice little blue star there too. The carnation looks like it needs a little bit of help though. And on the other side, we've just got sort of various angles and stuff like that. And there he's looking sort of a little bit red there. Maybe he decided he'd had enough of the blue and thought, oh, let's just go for a little bit of red. Red jeans. And it just kind of looks like he just went a bit crazy with one of those... well, it is called Tumble and Twirl, so he just went crazy with one of those twirlers. I wonder if it made any noise. And so, yeah, there we go. We've got him... I've just got to put this back. There we are. It's one of those things too where they actually... Because sometimes this doesn't happen, where you've got... a cover to go with the single, because sometimes that doesn't happen and you're sort of left to rely on ring wear on these things, but this one's alright. But you reckon the label's from EMI? Next up, after that one, is the Australian version of Tonight. Nothing much to look at. There we go. So I just thought I'd throw that one in. Now I'm just going to throw it out. You were waiting to hear a kind of nasty little... It sounded like something was hitting the wall, weren't you? So, oh, hang on. Oops. Next up, now this really didn't do anything, but I actually really liked this. Loving the Alien. Story goes that I think it was released because he liked it, or he wanted the song to be released or something. But just to remind us from the album that it's come from, he's got his blue face there. I hope he didn't react to his skin. There's a bit of conjecture too with the video clip, because there's a certain section of the video clip where David's singing very intensely and there's blood that comes out of his nose, but then there's an alternate version where there's no blood. Don't quite know why they did that, but the I can really open this. This hasn't been open for years, so I'm not going to force it. So you've got the lyrics there, and just a freeze of David walking along some plank or something like that. One of the things that I remember Smash Hits and all that sort of stuff saying in the day, if you look at the video, the consensus was that David actually looked pretty tired. He just was kind of a bit... he did look a little bit on the tired side, and we were like, oh yeah, he does look a bit along the lines of not wanting to be there. But no, I really like the song. And this is one of those that has a picture disc to it as well, actually. And last but not least is the kind of atmospheric little number with the Pat Metheny group This is not America. You were expecting me to trip over Pat Metheny, weren't you? Well, I didn't. Not what I would have said. The Fat Metheny... Oh, you've got an instrumental version on the other side, so you can do a bit of karaoke again. Rather than record another B-side or whack something from the LP, let's do an instrumental. Not that that's a bad thing. Back in the day, what we used to do with those instrumentals is that we'd do our own remixes on the cassettes. So we would sort of mix the two together. So you'd have an extended instrumental break or an extended instrumental break somewhere. You'd do what some 12 inches would do, is the entire instrumental section and then the song. But the other things that we'd do, or I'd do, would be to sort of use that instrumental as an extended break between verses or between the chorus or something like that, or even repeat the chorus 5 times over just to make that a bit longer. Oh, Village People can do it with Can't Stop the Music, so there we go. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you did, I think it's probably just as well we're at the end of this video, because it sounds like my voice wants to give me the rip-roaring roundabout. Get a bit of that stuff happening from the Tonight cover. Anyway, I'll be off. Thank you very much for watching. Please do all the likes and subscribes and the bells and whistles and all that. Ow. That was going to happen. And please take care of yourself, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Ciao. Oh, I didn't knock one of them off.